I hate my future mother-in-law. She tried to ruin my marriage multiple times. Let's start from the beginning so I can tell you exactly what this woman did right before I get proposed to. If it was not for my mother-in-law, I would be married right now, but because of her, anything my boyfriend and I want to do always ends up being ruined. She's been the reason for several fights in our relationship, but I refuse to give up a perfectly good relationship for her. It does not help that both of us are students, even though my boyfriend has a well-paying part-time job. Either way, her most recent scam was equally unoriginal and embarrassing, nearly costing me my entire relationship with my boyfriend. But in the end, she was the one who got something coming for her. When I started dating Tristan, who's 21, several years ago, I knew that I was going to be dating his mom as well, meaning that she was always involved in his life, except for when she had a boyfriend to keep her busy. When I met her for the first time, when I was 16, there was something off about her. But she seemed accepting of me until I started to notice her weird tendencies. One of the most obvious things about her was her love for money and luxurious spending. While she had a good job, she tended to spend more than she could earn. This was how several years go by and she's got involved into a huge money-making scam that I warned her not to get involved with. She was investing crazy amounts of money into this business that promised her returns. She did not tell us that what was happening in the beginning. She just bragged that there was a new business venture she was involved in. She got a high yield in the beginning, and as usual, spent it on useless things. Until one day she called my boyfriend, claiming that she could not get a hold of her business partner. This was the first time that Tristan was hearing about this, and being the computer genius that he was, he figured out it was a scam in just a few seconds. He warned his mom to run stuff like this by him first before she decided to just try to get rich quick. What we did not know was that she's invested much more money in the scam than she initially told us, and she's broke. So, not too long after that, my boyfriend started acting very weird and absent-minded. I knew enough to know that he was stressed and something terrible must have happened, so after tons of questioning, he told me that his mom was very sick and probably dying. He was just starting out in training for cybersecurity at the time, so even though he was getting paid good money, he was not that financially stable. His mom, on the other hand, had been scammed and canceled her insurance months ago because, well, she could not pay. Now, her treatment was completely out of pocket. I did not really believe that she was sick because by now I just knew how conniving she could be and did not trust a single word that came out of her mouth. What made it even more unbelievable was the fact that she said also had multiple other diseases in addition to cancer. But what could I do? It was a difficult time for my boyfriend, who had taken a gap year to do cybersecurity course before going to study further the following year. We were renting an apartment close to the campus where I was studying, barely able to survive. While my parents helped as much as they could, I had to work at a restaurant on weekends just to make ends meet, but we were happy. We were very committed, even, though he had not proposed yet. We were as good as married. Now, here she came with more problems to add the stress on our relationship. I advised my boyfriend to confirm that she was sick before providing her with any money, and he agreed as well. Well, he went to visit her once, and I'm sure she did an Oscar-worthy performance as well because he was taking out money from his savings to give her, even though it was meant for his business since he wanted to start his own one day. Everything I said to him went out the window, and he listened to that master manipulator. I had to give it to her. She knew just the right buttons to press on him. She took care of him when his dad left and was the only family he knew. He worshipped her like she was one of the sun itself. So there was not much to do from my side. I loved him too much to just leave him like that, and the only flaw was his love for his mom. At the time, she also had a boyfriend who was, unfortunately, forking out the rest of the treatment for her. She claimed that she had to go out of country to get the treatment done, so she wasn't able to stay in touch with us for long. Now that I kind of think of it, it was so that we could not visit her, question her about her treatment, or demand to see the reports. After several months of it being emotionally draining for everyone, her boyfriend contacted both of us, telling us to stop giving her money because she was using it to pay off the debt she accumulated during the time she was scammed. He told Tristan that his own mom had scammed him. She, on the other hand, had an explanation, saying that she was indeed sick, but it was for an illness that seemed to be cancer, but wasn't. So she has been misdiagnosed. We asked her about the money we gave her for treatment, and she said that it was non-refundable. Both of us were very angry at the doctors as well as the hospital for making such a mistake. So we decided that we were going to sue. Seeing that we seemed to be on to her, she confessed to her son that her life was in danger because the people she owed money to were dangerous, threatening to kill her, so she had to do such measures. When we asked why she did not just tell the truth, because we would have helped her either way, she claimed that she was scared that we would feel she was a burden. Well, she was not lying because she was a huge burden on my life, even though I was not related to her. Tristan went months without seeing her after that, and during that time our relationship flourished. On my 20th birthday, Tristan surprised me by proposing, though, if I must say so myself, I wasn't really surprised. Our relationship was at the stage where Tristan and Amy were a single noun. My family absolutely loved him, treating him even more like a family member than me. He was there for every small thing, and I could confide in him about everything. Our engagement was met with support from both friends and family. Tristan did not have much family, though, because his mom cut ties with him a long time ago, and spoke badly about every one of them. Because of that, he was unable to build proper relationships with them. It hurt to see the way that she had such control over them. But I did not doubt that she loved him, because, well, she would do anything for her son. Even though we did not get along as much, she had never forced him to break up with me, even though sometimes I felt like she had the power. Out of all his past girlfriends, I was the only one that she remotely respected, so that was at least a redeeming quality in her. With the announcement of our engagement came a surprise visit from her. I've never seen a more humbler person in my life. She seemed more toned down in her dressing and more respectable to us. She apologized for the way that she's treated us in the past and promised to do better. She did hold on to her promise in her own way, but she was still the same person. I learned to live with that. I was not upset when, after he received his first big paycheck, he bought her a car. I respected her enough to know that she's raised this amazing gentleman, and well, she deserved it. He occasionally sent her money and got her gifts, which I learned to live with. Tristan was now attending the same college as me, while working part-time and getting pretty good money. He is one of the smartest and most hardest working people I know, and his commitment to both his work and school are things to motivate me to do better in life. In all of that, we started planning and saving for our wedding. He gave me all the freedom in the world to plan my dream wedding, and I ran with it. This also meant that my future mother-in-law invited herself into the plans, despite butting heads with my equally stubborn mother. The next couple of months were very uneventful, except for her getting a new boyfriend. Her first in over 2 years, by the way. She was very happy, but I think it was because of the way he constantly spoiled her, which I was glad for because Tristan's wallet could now take a sleeper. We were thriving in life, planning our wedding for before we both turned 22 when she became seriously ill. Tristan and I were staying with her for the holiday when we noticed her fits constant sweating, and problems with eating. She also had some mouth sores which were concerning. She refused to go to the doctor, claiming that it was just a fever, but it seemed like more to us, especially when she reported that she was coughing blood. She went to the doctor, got tested, and, well, I was gutted when I found out she had throat cancer. And it was real this time. I'd seen her struggle with it and seen all the reports as well. She spent all day in bed and was very sick after the diagnosis. Her mental health also took a bad turn, which led to us extending our stay at her house. This time, it was a real diagnosis, and I had not protested about helping her in any way I could. My fiancé reacted by overworking himself to get money to pay for her treatment. Her boyfriend visited her every day, and the poor man offered a lot of money for her treatment. I saw the pills and the scans and was always with her. There was no denying it. She was dying. Because of that, we had to postpone our wedding and start getting refunds to pay for the rounds of chemo. Her condition remained the same for a long time, and I felt hopeless. But in all of that, something happened that opened my eyes to how this time we've actually been really fooled. It came when my fiancé suggested that we should take a break from studying and work full-time. I was only working several days a week at that point because I had also did coursework to get up to. This was not the Tristan I knew. Those were not his words, especially when he mentioned that it would be best for his mother. Why would he want us to make more money when she was already taken care of? She's also mentioning the idea to me later that night, saying that I could easily find a better paying job than the one I had. And studying did not guarantee a better future these days. She said her treatment was only getting more costly, so since I was now practically family, I had to support my fiancé. She thought I was as easy to manipulate as he was, because I've been so kind and caring to her. But I've been slowly paying attention, and there were times I could have sworn I saw crushed up pills flushed down the toilet, or that she had skipped the chemo session. But I gave her the benefit of the doubt, because, well, I do not want Tristan to have to suffer yet another betrayal. I told my mom about my suspicions, and she told me to get to the bottom of it. This was when I went to the hospital, when she was being treated, of course. They would not tell me anything about her because of the confidentiality clause. But I had an ace up my sleeve. I went to the nurse and told her that my mom-in-law had lost her prescription for her meds that she needed, and she was too sick to come and get them. I asked her if there was a way for me to collect the pills without her prescription. This made her check the system, and surprise, surprise, she wasn't in there. I apologized and said it was my mistake, but I had my first piece of evidence. I gave her a gift voucher for a massage and searched her room while she was gone. There was nothing too suspicious until I got to the back of her closet. There I found it. Vials of fake blood, needles, strange pills, and then in an envelope, test results for a fever. It was a rare kind that required certain medication, and she warned against certain kinds of antibiotics or she would develop resistance to her meds. I read the labels of the pills again, seeing that she was not supposed to be taking them. I immediately called Tristan to show him the things in his mom's room, but to my surprise, he did not look shocked. He said that days before, he's been trying to find a specialist to help his mom's case, but her records were questioned by the specialist. She told him that it was just errors with the hospital she was being treated, and he did not ask further. Tristan was so angry and disappointed in his mom that he told me to pack my bags because we were leaving. I packed without asking any questions while he was on a call with someone. 10 minutes later, a man I do not know parked at the house, with his mom in the passenger seat. She looked super shaken and was shouting at the stranger. When she got out of the car, she immediately ran to my fiancé, who pushed her away and told her that she was dead to him. She asked why he was suddenly being so cold to her, and he told her to stop lying for once in her life. Well, I've never seen him call her out like that, but it was very enjoyable. He told her that she made a fool out of him for the very last time. He was cutting off any financial support, and he also told her that he was taking back his car. She begged him to listen to her explain, but he went back into the house, took his bags, and got in his car, telling me to follow. The other guy, who was a friend of his, drove off with the other car. He blocked her everywhere, and she's also banned from entering our apartment building. He wants absolutely nothing to do with her and only wants to focus on our future. Well, I support him fully, as this has been a long time coming. She does not love him, she just loves his money and taking advantage of him. She will continue to hop from boyfriend to boyfriend, spending their money until she's very old, and she's still not gonna have any sort of empathy. He does not speak about it, but he's very scarred from all the lies she's told him over the years, and all that she's had in the past and put him through. Because of that, the way we're low on cash now, we're going to have a very small wedding. I don't mind a small wedding at all. I've seen just how material things can take over a person's life, and I do not want to be like her. She had an amazing son, but she messed it up because of her greed, and I seriously think she's lost him forever. Even the mention of her name makes him lose his temper. She has truly damaged him. But I'll do what it takes to be by his side as he works through it in his own way. I think it's really messed up somebody can lie about being so sick. Not only that, do it multiple times and try to scam your loved ones out of money. You know about the girl who cried wolf? Well, this is like a similar situation because maybe one day she's actually going to need OP's help and there's just nothing that they're going to do for her. Let me know your thoughts and comments about this one, guys. Drop it down below, and if you are enjoying the video so far today, consider subscribing to the channel by clicking the red button right below this video. It helps support me so much and I thank you for that. Now, we're going to look at today's second story, and the title is, Just Because I Live Here Doesn't Mean I'm Your Dog Sitter. I live with my son, daughter-in-law, 2 grandkids, and their 2 huge dogs, a British Mastiff and a Great Pyrenees. I have my own apartment here and pay rent, utilities, food, etc., so I'm not a charity case. Actually, I'm my grandkid's school bus every day, and we totally love it. This just happened last night, and it totally floors me. And my son and his wife have a very strange friend, Simon, that I've never liked from the moment I met him. I'll save you all the details as why I don't like him, except that when my daughter and new son-in-law were visiting, my daughter stupidly mentioned that she wished her husband would stop dominating all my time discussing plants, which is both of our passions. And then this friend stated, "Oh, why would anyone want to talk to her?" My daughter went off on him immediately for disrespecting me like that. Well, fast forward to a couple months ago, same weird friend buys an adorable, unhoused, trained corgi and brings it over every weekend. He leaves his dog unattended inside the house while he parties outside. Of course, the dog pooped in my son's house, and my son properly made him clean it up. While he was cleaning up his dog's mess, he made the grave error of telling me that I should have been watching his dog since I was inside. Huh, I laughed and said, not my dog, not my responsibility. Simon was so angry that he has not visited us in over 2 months, but obviously has not learned his lesson. Last night, Simon shows up at the house again with his dog to go visit a haunted house with the entire family. I wasn't going with him because that's just not my thing. As everyone was gathering to leave, I'd loudly comment, "So, Simon's dog's going with you, right?" Simon responded, no, he's staying here with you." Okay, I'm not the dog sitter, nor the dog whisperer, was my response. My son immediately panicked and asked if I'd watch his freaking two dogs, which I responded with, "Of course, they live here, but that dog does not." My son then informed Simon that his dog would be kenneled in one of his dog's kennels until they returned. Simon complained that his puppy would cry all night because he's never been kenneled before. Alright, so, absolutely not my problem. I just got up and immediately went to my own apartment, silently laughing to myself, giggling under my breath. Nobody ever asked me to watch Simon's dog, but if they had, I would have said no, because he disrespected me. Okay, so let's read the top comment and we'll talk about it. Unless someone hits him upside the head with it, Simon will probably never grasp the concept you don't insult people, then expect them to do you a favor. Would be interesting to find out what OP's son and daughter-in-law even see in Simon. Guys, do you agree with that statement? I do, and I think OP has no reason to watch Simon's dog after Simon was so disrespectful. Drop your thoughts about how you would have handled this situation in the comments below, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next one.